Programmet presenteras av betsafe.com.
Hi and welcome back to MMA Newton Studio MMA, and we're here with Cyrille Diabaté, who was originally supposed to face one of Sweden's biggest names in mixed martial arts, and Jürgen Kruth, obviously a K1 champion and veteran, and that changed, unfortunately, for Jürgen, who was very excited by getting a chance to fight here in Sweden. How much did that change your game plan and strategy for this fight?
Oh, I think it changed 180 degrees. I go from fighting a K1 kickboxer to a world-class grappler. So, you know, I've been obviously working on all aspects of MMA. So wrestling and takedown defense. So it'll play out the same way, I think.
Now, Tom de Blas, like you mentioned, is more of a grappler, absolutely. Jürgen is obviously known for his stand-up. Were you looking forward to a stand-up fight with Jürgen?
You know what? I think I was ready to give a MMA fight to the Swedish fans. I think putting two kickboxers together in the UFC, obviously you're going to see world-class striking, but I think Jürgen and myself were pretty much ready to take it wherever it needed to be to go. So it would have been an MMA match.
We just had Francis Clermont in the studio, and he, he's working on his English. You don't have to work in English. I was very surprised. Not only do you speak perfect English, but you even have a British accent. Tell us a little bit about your history with England.
I lived in England for 8 years when I was a kid. Then went back to France when I was 14 years old, and grew up in the rest of my childhood in France.
And France is obviously known for his Thai boxing, great stand-up, even some boxing as well, and judo, which kind of is three other aspects in many ways of mixed martial arts. But mixed martial arts is still pretty outlawed in France, and UFC has tried very hard, I know, to get into France. Are you involved with that at all? Do you hear about it, and do you know how far away they are from getting the UFC into France?
I think I'm definitely one of the fighters that is involved with trying to legalize MMA in France. I've been doing my part in promoting the sport and the athletes that participate in MMA. So yeah, I've been doing that for a long time, and obviously the UFC trying to get into France and legalize the sport. Yeah, I've been doing my share of helping out, and I think my fingers are crossed, but I think in the next year or couple of years we should see the UFC in Paris.
And you are the biggest name in the UFC from France, just as Alexander Gustafsson is the biggest name for mixed martial arts in Sweden, and obviously being the poster boy, being the main event on Saturday night. How big is the dream to get to be a main event in France, in Paris? Is that something that you visualize, that you would love to do? Is a dream for you, or?
Yeah, it's obviously a dream come true. You know, if someday the UFC does go to Paris, I hope to be on the main card alongside with Sheikh Kongo, obviously, and Francis Carmon, who are the two other names in the UFC right now, the two other French names in the UFC. Sheikh Kongo has done a lot for the sport in France, just being in the UFC and doing as well as he's been doing. So definitely, I'd love to be on that card and show that the French fighters can hang in there with the best.
And sorry, Sheikh, by the way, obviously you're one of the main names as well. It's not a man you want to upset. He's a big man. And we spoke to Sheikh before as well, and we asked him if he's here to corner or just to support. Obviously he's doing media as well, but he said he wasn't sure if he was going to be in your corner or not. And you guys are pretty close, right?
I've known Sheikh for, I'd say, probably like 10 years or something. We've sparred together, we've trained together a couple of times, but you know, it's hard to ask for someone to be in your corner that doesn't train with you every day and doesn't know all your tricks and all you know, your style. But I'd be honored to have Sheikh in my corner on Saturday.
Now, the Swedish fighters are very, very close, all of them. Although some of them are from different camps, they all know each other pretty well. The MMA community isn't that big in Sweden. How well do you know each other? All of you. I know Francis and you know each other as well, although he trains in Canada with GSP. And how come you guys, although you trained in the past, how come you don't train together anymore?
I think Francis, you know, probably made he obviously made a great choice in going to TriStar in Montreal and training with GSP and the rest of the guys out there. You know, France, it's a different context to Sweden in the fact that the sport isn't legal. So if you have got ambitions as a professional fighter and you're in France, it's going to be tough. It's going to be harder for you to you know, get experience, just because there's not that many competitions even in amateur MMA, Pancras, for example, in France. So just to be able to you know, make the evolution of amateur fighter to a professional fighter and get that experience, it's going to be harder for a French guy than a guy from Canada or an American. So a lot of French guys, French fighters with ambitions, are making the move abroad, and that's probably why Francis made that choice. But we're pretty. My gym is open to all the pro fighters. Everybody knows that, you know, if they want to get a chance to train with high-level fighters, they're more than welcome to come to the Snake team in Paris.
Now, exactly, you are in Paris and you do your training camp in Paris.
Yeah.
So how do you go about to do it? And especially, say, you were originally supposed to prepare for Jürgen. Do you bring someone in particularly with a similar style to Jürgen, and then when you find out you're no longer fighting Jürgen, you find someone else? How do you do it? Because I'm sure it's not, you guys are pretty big. How do you go about it?
You know what? This camp was all about trying to hone my skills and try and get my skills to a better level. So I flew out to Vegas and trained with Alliance MMA. I actually trained with Alex Gustafsson and his camp, which was a great experience. I trained with Brandon Vera, Phil Davis, all those guys from Alliance. And then for the last week, I went to Team Quest in California and trained with Henderson, who's a friend of mine.
Nice. Now, you're training with Alex, and it's the main event on Saturday. You fought Alex.
Yep.
How is it like to train with someone you actually been in there and tried to hurt as bad as you can in the cage, and then train together? And what's your opinion about the main event, since you've been sparring with Alex as of very recently, correct?
Yep. You know what? At the end of the day, we're professionals. We're professional fighters. We get ready for a fight. The day of the fight plays out. You win, you lose, and then after that, it's over. You know, you've had your chance. You've won. You've lost. In my case, I lost against Alex, but you know, the next time I saw him, you know, we shook hands. We talked about, you know, how training was going and everything. Professional fighters, you know. So when I got a chance to train with Alliance MMA and Alex and all the rest of the guys, I jumped on the occasion. You know, even if it's a next opponent and he beat me. You know, if he beat me, there's a reason. Why can I take some of that? You know, whatever he had that allowed him to beat me, you know, and make it my own. So
nice.
So training with ex-opponents is not a problem for me.
Now, from when you fought Alex to now training with Alex, getting ready for this main event,
Yeah.
how much do you feel and see? I don't think anyone else could really compare. If you know, being a previous opponent to being a training partner, how much has Alex really developed?
I think since my fight, he's even better than when he fought against me. He's more technical. He's more confident in what he does. He hits hard, but that's always been the case.
Right.
And I think he's matured as a MMA fighter, and he's a better fighter than when I fought him. And I think Saturday is going to show.
Cyrille Diabaté, I'm sure you're going to have a lot more fans on Saturday now compared to what you would have had in the Globe fighting Jürgen. A lot more people cheering for you, being so close to Sweden. And we look forward to seeing you on Saturday night, and thank you for coming into the studio.
Thank you for having
me. Take a quick break, and don't go anywhere. We'll be back real soon.
Programmet presenteras av betsafe.com.